Hello and welcome, thanks for tuning in, it's nice to have you with us. I owe you this video. Why? I was one of the persons who introduced AVA of Norway as a manufacturer of pressure washers into the car care market, and the original comparison video I did about the AVA P80 Master versus the Karcher K7 is one of the videos about the AVA products with the highest count of views today on YouTube. So, why do I tell you that I owe you this video? It was a few years ago that I did this original video. I also made a video about the different models by AVA. So to help you decide which of those models is the right one for you. Although I have to tell you the video I did back then is outdated now because they have a new model, the Easy model, which was not included in that video. However, I did those videos based on initial testing impressions. And I now have a few years on my back in which I used those pressure washers a lot. And I mean a lot. And because of that and because of my ongoing experiences with AVA and their machines, I wanted to do, and I honestly need to do, an update video in which I tell you honestly, brutally honest, how I feel about those AVA machines right now. I will structure this video in 3 parts in which I tell you what I like about the AVA machines, what I don't like about the AVA machines, and what are aspects which I am indifferent about, and we will start with those. Because one aspect that is important to know in regards to the AVA machines is that compared to Karcher machines, you as a user cannot adjust the pressure of the water that comes out of those, because on some of the Karcher models, you have a gun on which you can adjust the pressure of the water that comes out of it. With AVA, you cannot do this, and it doesn't matter which model we talk about, AVA doesn't offer this option. With AVA, they offer you different nozzles that you can use, which adjust the width of the spray pattern that hits the surface you are treating. With this Vario nozzle, you can adjust it between, I think, 20 and 60 degrees. Then you have additional nozzles. This is the 40-degree nozzle, and AVA works with different spray patterns. That one I am indifferent about. Yes, I had some occasions in which I thought it would be nice if I can just adjust the pressure I have with the water coming out right now and on the fly. On other situations, I thought it's perfectly fine that AVA chose to work with those spray patterns, with those different nozzles, because I actually think it is one less thing that they have to think about when it comes to the durability of their machines. So this aspect I'm completely indifferent about. And the other thing I am indifferent about is this short trigger spray gun, because yes, there are, I would say, nicer guns out there. I'm personally always very careful when it comes to saying things like higher quality, because just because something is of plastic doesn't automatically mean that it is of a lesser quality than a metal counterpart. Physics and chemistry and quality aspects are not as simple as that. That being said, I myself got the MTM short trigger gun, a very high quality one out of Italy. It is very expensive. And yes, this gun feels and looks nicer than this one by AVA. Yes, I have to tell you that. If, and that is a big if you get a MTM or another short trigger gun of high quality out of metal that is properly set up for your pressure washer, because I actually think it is not fair to you as consumers and to you as viewers of video if someone tells you that those short trigger guns, which cost a lot of money, and the MTM one costs about or around $100 or $100, if they don't tell you that they need to be fitted to your pressure washer, which means the fittings that are on there where the plug goes in and also the nozzles that you use, they need to be adjusted properly to the amount of water, so the water flow of your pressure washer, and also the pressure that your machine is able to pump out. If that is not properly fit, you won't have such a positive experience. That is why I ordered my MTM gun from Carscope in the UK, where they choose the right fittings and the right nozzles according to the pressure washer you want to use the gun with. So I have experience with different guns, and I have to tell you, yes, there are nicer feeling and nicer looking guns out there. However, this one you get for free. And with any other Kärcher model right now, you don't get a short trigger gun for free included when you buy them. So I'm indifferent in telling you that this is a bad short trigger gun just because it is out of plastic. And I actually think AVA did some adjustments over the time in regards to the internals there. Yes, I had 6 different pressure washers by AVA over time, which I was able to test. And I had one of those guns that broke on me in the winter time. So there was probably some piece in there which broke because of the cold weather. And that is, in my personal opinion, that's completely fine as a failure rate. But I won't tell you that this is a bad gun. I won't tell you this is a good gun. I'm indifferent about it because you get it for free. And as a thing that you get for free, I actually think this is a nice extra that you get. But those are the 2 aspects which I am indifferent about, and for the rest of the video we will now talk about the positive and the negative aspects that I found with the AVA pressure washers over an extended period of time when I used them. And we start with the positive aspects. I think I already told you that in my original video in which I compared the AVA P80 Master with the Kärcher K7, that I think that AVA has a very nice and pleasant design language. And I still stand by that. I think that the machines by AVA, based on the honeycomb structures that they have there, based on the colors that they choose, based on how they design their machines, are very pleasant machines to look at. They look beautiful. I know that this is a bit of a stretch when I say this, because design language and industrial design is a field that you can study on your own, and I have not studied this. And I'm sure Kärcher has a design department. However, when I personally look at the Kärcher machines, I see a consistent design, but I don't see a pleasant design. I don't think that there is something unique about Kärchers in their design language. And on the other hand, I see a lot of very unique design features when I look at the AVA machines. And that is one very positive aspect, I personally think, because if I have 2 identical machines in terms of their equipment, in terms of their quality, in terms of their power, then I personally will always choose the better looking machine. But that's just a personal story. But I think it's a fair point to say that the AVA machines look rather pleasing, aesthetically speaking. Then I also think that the AVA machines have some details which are clever. Let's sum it up as clever details. If we, for example, take this AVA V6, this is the top of the line model, and that accounts for all of the other models as well. You not only have the machine itself, you have the gun, you have the steel reinforced hose, you always also have some place where you can put the nozzles. You always also have a place where you can put the lens, and you always also have one place where you can properly store the power cable, which in this case is this little hook down there. So they have very clever solutions when it comes to storage. They also have rather nice details, which I already told you in my original video about the AVA P80 Master, where I told you that the wheels that they have, they are not just out of cheap plastic, they feel rubberized. And because of that, when you roll them over a hard surface floor like this one, they sound quieter than the comparable Kärcher models. And I think the most relevant detail for you out there is that AVA very cleverly decided to use the same adapter or bayonet mechanism as Kärcher does. So as you can see, this is the same link that also Kärcher uses, which means you can use Kärcher accessories like this snow foam bottle here and can use it on your AVA. We will talk about this feature in a few minutes, but in general, it is a very clever decision that AVA made a few years back, that they are using the same catcher mechanism. Not only that, but they further developed it, because traditionally with catchers, when you attach a nozzle or a lance into your catcher machine, you have to like push it in with a lot of pressure and then do a half or a quarter turn, and then it's locked. With the AVA, it's so much more comfortable and so much easier. You just put it in there, do a quarter of a turn, and that's it. You can then go ahead and lock it in place, and then it doesn't go anywhere. But in general, this quarter turn here is enough to attach snow foam lances, nozzles, lances, and everything else. And those are very, very nice details and solutions that AVA thought about when they gave us those pressure washers. Those two aspects, design and details, are very, very good. Then, steel reinforced hoses, and I don't think we can stress enough how important that aspect is. I just had 2 days in which I used this machine, and I also used a Catcher K5 with the standard Catcher hose on there, because we had an event where we washed, I think it was about 50 cars in 2 days. And we used those both machines, and you cannot imagine how much nicer it is to use a machine with a steel reinforced hose in comparison to those horrible catcher hoses which curl up all the time. It's so much nicer. And the beautiful thing is not only this top of the line machine, yes, this one has a 15 or 20 meter hose on it, but also the cheap ones, yes, these cheaper ones have only a 6 or 8 meter steel reinforced hose, but they have a steel reinforced hose compared to the basic catcher models like the K2, which have a 3 or 4 meter curling up hose on there. It's not even close in terms of a comparison. So this one, the steel reinforced hose, is a really, really big plus when it comes to AVA, and that accounts for all of their models. Then, when we talk about a comparison between AVA and Catcher, and I mean, I will tell you a lot about comparisons to Catcher in this video, because to be fair, Catcher probably is the market leader in this segment. Yes, I know Nilfisk has a few pressure washers, Bosch has one. There's also Big Boy, there's also Active, there's also Krentzle. They all have their machines, but I think AVA was targeting very clearly Catcher as their main rival, and I also think the Catcher is the market leader in this segment, so we will stick with the comparison with AVA within this video. When we compare the different models of Catcher and AVA and the comparable machines with each other, you usually get more equipment with the corresponding model from AVA. You get a foam cannon, we will talk about that in a minute. You get a lance. You get, as mentioned, a short trigger gun. You get different nozzles. You get more equipment from AVA, and you get more equipment which is suitable for car care. And I think that's the more important bit within this video and on this channel. So, more equipment, more useful equipment. That's also a positive. Then, I already told you about the Catcher compatibility, which not only means you can use Catcher equipment or stuff that's made for Catcher pressure washers on your AVA pressure washer, it's also the other way around. You can, for example, just order this short trigger gun and use it on your Catcher pressure washer. Or you can get this very fantastic lance, which is extendable. So that was an extremely smart move by AVA to give you the possibility to not only use Catcher equipment on their machines, but also the other way around, meaning you can use AVA equipment on your Catcher pressure washers. Another very positive aspect. Then, again, when we compare the different machines by AVA and Catcher next to each other, you usually get a more powerful machine by AVA, which means you have more water flow and you have more pressure. Even if it is a tiny bit more, you get more. And that's also a positive aspect. Then we have one aspect which was more pronounced in the early days of AVA than it is now, but I still think it's a positive aspect to consider here. AVA is very good at listening to customers, or was very good at listening to customers, and then incorporating the feedback into their product development. I think they had a lot of feedback regarding the snow foam bottles, and yes, we can say you get this one for free, and therefore we shouldn't expect too much. However, there is one important aspect to consider with this snow foam bottle, which is it empties itself rather quickly. Even with a mini, you have to be rather quick to go around the car, even if you consider that you have 700 milliliters of solution in there. It is not the best snow foam cannon in the world. Let's just put it like that. However, AVA was very quick to react, and they introduced a, let's say, traditional brass snow foam lens rather quickly, and then they introduced, I think this year or last year, a very, very cool new revolutionary snow foam gun or snow foam cannon, where you get 3 different bottles with a specialized head on there with a few very nice features. So they listen to their customers, they listen to feedback, they listen to critique, and then they react on it. At least that's how it was with AVA. Those are all positive aspects, and then there's one aspect I think is underrated, but it's still very important to note. One thing that AVA always was very vocal about was that if you read into their history, they were a Norwegian company that were the main distributors of Kärcher machines for years, and what they saw is that people bought a Kärcher, and then when it stopped working, they threw the machine away and got a new one. And they always thought that's not very sensible, it's not very reasonable in regards to the sustainability aspect of it. And that's why they designed their machines so that they are serviceable by you, by the customers. And that's why they offer, depending on which machine you get, a 10 or 20-year warranty if you service your machines every 5 years. Which means you have to open them up, you maybe have to replace the pump, you send them a picture or a video about it, you register your machine on the AVA website, and then you have 5 additional years of warranty, which means you don't have to throw away your machine when it stops working. And I think this sustainability aspect is environmentally, and in the day and age that we live in, a very, very positive aspect that we should stress out when we do videos in which I tell you about the positive and the negative aspects that I found about the AVA pressure washers. In regards to the different models, I personally have 3 firm favorites. I still very much like the Go machines because they are small, light and compact. And I think for a weekend warrior, an enthusiast who does not want to pay a lot of money, or mobile detailers who don't need a heavy machine, those machines are fantastic. If you would give me the choice between a Kärcher K2, the comparable model by Nilfisk, or an AVA P40 Go, that's the base model, the smallest one that they offer, I would always go for the AVA P40 Go. It's a fantastic machine. And the P55 Go, that's the most powerful one in this small package. I absolutely adore that machine because you get a machine with the power of a Kärcher K4 or K5 in a very small package. Absolutely fantastic machine. This one I love. I also love the V6, and honestly, everyone who tells you that the Kränzle pressure washers are the best of the best, no matter what, without having tried this one, honestly probably doesn't know what he talks about. These are extremely powerful. I also think design-wise very pleasant to look at. I just adore this one. So I love the top of the line model. I love the bottom line model that they have. And the other models all come with wheels, and within those lines I personally like the Evolution line very much because it is an evolution, as the name suggests, of the Master Series. And with that one I think you get the most out of AVA in terms of innovation, in terms of storage solutions, and that's also a fantastic machine. But those are the positive aspects I wanted to tell you in regards to AVA. So let's do a quick summary. I think the design is fantastic. I think they offer details which are very thoughtful, which you don't get with other pressure washers. The steel reinforced hose is fantastic. The accessories that you get, mainly the free short trigger gun, are very, very nice. The compatibility with Kärcher, because they use the same bayonet mechanism, is fantastic. The power and the water flow that they offer compared to similar machines by other manufacturers are very impressive. The innovation in the early days and the way they listened to customer feedback was very good and very positive. Their focus on sustainability and in that their machines are environmentally friendly, I think is very recommendable. And as I just told you, I especially like the Go machines, the V6 machines and the Evolution machines. Those are the positive aspects, and let's now talk about the negative ones. And I know for a fact that some of you will call me a hypocrite right now, because you'd say, well, I watched the video in which you compared the AVA P80 Master to the Kärcher K7 and you raved about the AVA. And that's true, but every single word I told you about in that AVA P80 Master video, I still stand by that. Every single word. However, there are aspects, especially with those machines, that you only and really and honestly and realistically find out over a prolonged period of time. And I now had several years in which I could use all of the different models by AVA, except for the Easy one. The Easy came out last year. I did not have the chance to test that one yet. And there were some aspects over time that I found out which are not as positive. And let's talk now about those negative aspects. There's one aspect which is a personal opinion. And I think that AVA had one huge chance that they missed, and that's individualization. When I look at every other aspect and every other industry in life, and especially when it comes to cars, there's one mega trend that's still ongoing, and that's individualization. And I honestly think that it would have been rather incomparably easy and also cheap for AVA to offer you some sort of individualization based on the way that their machines are designed. All of them are black or dark gray and then have those neon yellow colored pieces on there. And I don't think it would have been that much effort and money to offer you the possibility to choose those neon yellow parts in red, in blue, in teal, in any other color that you may like. So that's, I think personally and from a business perspective, a huge chance that AVA missed. But I mean, you can call it a criticism, but that's just something I wanted to tell to AVA directly. I have actually told them, but I don't think they have capitalized on it. Then, in regards to the short trigger gun, I already told you that I'm somewhat indifferent about it, because at the end of the day, we talk about a free item that you get with every AVA. You don't get this special one with every AVA, because the smaller ones have a different one, but with every AVA pressure washer that you buy, you get a short trigger gun, which is very popular. And how much have you read in forums, in Facebook groups, people who bought a Kärcher K2, K3, K4, K5, and they asked, which short trigger gun can I buy to attach it? With AVA, you don't have to think about it, because you get one for free, which also works very nice. And it also doesn't mean that you don't get a lance, because you get one with AVA as well. So you have the choice of using a lance or just the short trigger gun, in which you can attach the different nozzles. So in general, I am rather positive about the gun. However, I already told you that I had one gun that broke on me. To be fair, I read quite a few postings, especially on Facebook, of unhappy customers who reported that their guns broke. Now, in general, I am very careful with those reports, because I personally think that for every report, for every negative report that you get with such a product, you probably have 10 to 20 to 50 reports which are positive, but which people just don't go ahead and write about them. Because at the end of the day, it's only fair game. You saw videos from me, from other YouTubers, from other reviewers where they raved about those machines. You went ahead and bought it. You had positive expectations, and if they were fulfilled, they were fulfilled. That's okay, that's fine. But if they are not fulfilled and something like this breaks on you, then of course you are disappointed and you are going to report about it. That's the nature of the beast. That's how things go on the internet. Negative reviews, especially when it comes to tools, will probably always be more prevalent when it comes to such things. That being said, I have seen enough reports that I think that the quality of those guns, and in general, but we will talk about that in a minute, is not where it should be probably with AVA. And I actually think they went through some sort of improvement process because the earlier ones had different internals than the later ones. So we put it in the negative. Even if I told you in the beginning of this video that I'm indifferent about the gun, it is for free, you get it for free. But I still think that the quality of the gun is not quite there as it should be. More importantly, I think AVA is completely fine in giving you that one for free in the quality that it comes. But I also think that they could have gone and made a better version of it, which would have been an accessory that you can buy extra. And I think people would have bought it because when I see how much the MTM guns and other guns are costing, I don't think it would have been such a hassle for AVA to give you a better option in their accessory program. So we put that in the negative aspects about AVA, but you can think about that yourself. Then the standard foam cannon that comes with the AVAs. First aspect, again, you get this one for free. So we are complaining about a free item, which never is quite fair to the manufacturer, but still, this is not the best foam cannon in the world. It works miles better and much better than the Kärcher FJ6, which I made a video about it. You can watch it up there. I'll give you the link to that one. There's no way of nicely putting it. The Kärcher FJ6 is a shit product. Let's leave it at that. This one is much better. However, it goes through product rather quickly, and the snow foam solution that comes out of it is also rather watery. There are much better foam cannons out there, and AVA actually gave you better ones in their accessory lineup. I still think that they could go ahead and make that one a little bit better. But then again, what AVA told me is that this is not a product that was intended for use on cars. It was intended for use at home, and especially when you clean walls on your houses. And there, people want such a snow foam cannon. So let's leave it at that. It's not the best snow foam cannon in the world. And I think in a car care context, it's fair to criticize it as not being as good as it could be. More importantly, when we talk about snow foam cannons, we have to talk about, again, the compatibility of Kärcher equipment with the AVA machines. Now, I told you that you can use, for example, snow foam cannons, which come with the Kärcher bayonet there, and use it on your AVA pressure washer. However, when you use AVA equipment, they can be locked in place with this control mechanism here. So they are fixed. With Kärcher equipment that is made for Kärcher and not for AVA, you are missing this one, which means if the snow foam cannon is rather heavy, it can turn out itself. There is an adapter that you can buy from AVA, which gives you the locking capability, which solves that problem. However, you still have another problem. What I personally found is that with the Go machines, with the smart machines, and I guess it's the same with the easy machines, you can use every snow foam cannon there is on the market that comes or that is made for Kärcher machines. As soon as we start about, or as we talk about the Master, the Evolution and the V6 machines, we have to be careful, because I found that with the P70, P80 and P90 versions of those machines, they are, for some reason, overpowering those snow foam lances. which means you put them in and then you either have a leakage in some sort there where water flows out there and nothing comes out of the cannon, or more likely you will start spraying and then you have a pump motion there, which means it goes brrrt, brrrt, brrrt. And you have patches of snow foams applied, but you don't have a constant flow of snow foams on your car. I don't know what the issue is, because the funny thing is, as soon as I changed the gun from this one to the MTM gun, which comes with a quick connect attachment there, every single snow foam cannon I tried worked, no matter with which machine, and even with the very powerful machines. So I think it has to do something with this mechanism in there, and it didn't change when I used the AVA, the AVA attachment there, which I put on my MTM snow foam gun, used it with this machine, with this gun, and I still had this pump motion there. So what that means is I have to give you a warning. Not every snow foam cannon that's made for Kärcher will work with every machine by AVA when you use the standard short trigger gun. Then, and I think this next one is a rather important and a rather big one for most of you, these machines are known to blow fuses. However, that one needs to be a bit more precise. With the Go machines, you are safe. You are also safe with the Smart series of machines. I have not tested the new Easy series, but I think you are safe with them as well. What I found is that starting with the Master series and including the Evolution and including the V6 series, and especially if we talk about the P70, P80 and P90 power output versions of them, with those you tend to get blown fuses. As long as you stay with the P60 and below, you should be safe. However, even with a P60 Master or a P60 Evolution, it could happen that they blow the fuses. I think technically, I'm not a technician, I don't make these machines, so I'm putting myself out there, but I think what is the reason for it is that those machines don't have a soft start function, which means as soon as you pull the trigger here, the full power goes through those machines and into your electrical system. And that actually is, in my personal opinion, an issue that could have been solved rather easily and rather quickly by AVA. And I think the issue is that the Norwegian power system is probably better developed than what we have in Central Europe, in the UK, in the US, although I think the machines are not yet available in the US. There, that problem would be a lot more severe than what we are seeing. However, I personally think if a manufacturer decides to go outside of the home market and to export their machines, they should make sure that those machines work with the electrical systems in the country that you are selling them. And therefore, I think it is a fair point to criticize them, because to be fair, yes, AVA states the fuses that you need in your house in order for those machines to work properly. I still think they just should have given you machines that work with whatever fuses you have in your house. They probably should have gone with a soft start function. It's just an aspect that is critical about those machines, and I think it's an aspect that you need to know about. Once again, I personally found that this issue with the blown fuses is only with the P70, P80 and P90 power versions of those machines. Then, and this one is a very critical one, I mean, I made a video in which I told you about all the different models that AVA has, because I had to. AVA has the Go model, the Smart model, now the Easy model, the Master, the Evolution and the V6. That's already a lot of different machines where I personally think when they introduced the Easy model, they should have just stopped making the Smart one, and when they introduced the Evolution model, they should have stopped offering the Master model. That's just my personal opinion. Those are already too many machines. But then it gets worse. For every one of those machines, you have 3 to 4 different power versions. With the Go, you have the P40, the P50, the P55. And then it goes on, P50, P60, P70, P80, P90. And that already opens up a matrix of different machines, which it's horrendous. It's incredibly difficult for you as consumers and for us as reviewers to really understand that. And then to make matters even worse, you have different bundles. You have the medium, the large, and the X-large bundle. It's just too much. And I mean, it's very arrogant for me to say such a thing, but if AVA would appoint me, the CEO of AVA, I would completely scrap the whole model lineup that they have and just work with 3 different machines. I would work with the Go model, probably the 55, and offer that as the entry-level machines. Make more of them, make them cheaper. That's just one entry-level, the best entry-level model that I can offer. That's one. Then I would offer one version with wheels, and that's it. I would probably go with the Evolution because I think the Evolution is the best that AVA has to offer in terms of storage solutions. That's the one I would go for, with probably the P60, where I make sure that that model works in every place in the world without blowing fuses. And then I would have the V6, the most powerful one, P90 for professionals, where I think it's okay that it blows fuses if you don't have the right ones in your place. But those are the 3 machines I would offer. And honestly, I don't think anyone needs more than those 3 machines. And I think that aspect, that there are too many different models, versions of them, makes the whole AVA experience very complicated for you as consumers and probably also a bit off-putting. And that's a critic I have about them. Too many machines, too many models. The next one is probably the most important one, and probably, if you as viewers are honest, it's the one that you have been waiting for when you read the title of this video, which is quality and reliability. Now, again, the same as with the gun and with the foam cannon, I think negative reviews will always be more prevalent than positive ones. However, that being said, let's first talk about my personal experiences with those machines over the years. I had 6 different machines, and the first one that I got delivered, which was some sort of broken in the package that I got, it was the AVA Evolution P90. There, the handle for the hose reel was broken inside the package. That's not a catastrophic failure, but it is not nice to receive as a customer, to receive a broken machine. So that was the first one I experienced. Then the machine I used the most, because I just love it, was the P55 Go. That saw the most use by me. That one worked fine for 2.5 years. And then something inside the machine broke. When I pulled the handle on the trigger, there was nothing coming out, and there was water coming out of the machine itself. There was one failure. I replaced the pump in that machine, and then it worked fine again. I had the same failure with the AVA P80 Master, in which I replaced the pump, then it worked again. And I had the same failure in the AVA P90 Evolution. I replaced the pump, and then it worked again fine. So that's 3 out of 6 machines which stopped working or had some kind of technical issues. That's 50%. That sounds like a lot. However, I will definitely not go ahead and say that 50% is the failure rate that you as consumers are seeing out there in the market. That would be stupid. That would be irresponsible from me. That's just my personal experience with the 6 machines that I had from AVA. That being said, I personally think what happened is that AVA grew too quickly for their own good. I mean, my first video and my first review about the AVA P80 Master was a very successful one based on the views it got, especially the English version of the video. There were other very positive reviews when they were not yet as well known as they are nowadays. And I think that probably back then the quality was better that you are getting now, because they probably received a lot of feedback. They received a lot of positive impact based on those videos. They got orders, they got general distributors, and they probably couldn't fulfill those orders quick enough, so that something somewhere at AVA changed. And I think that the quality went down from there what it originally was over time. That's my personal opinion, that's my personal interpretation of what I'm seeing now. Because to be fair, what I see is that there are more and more single ones, but there are a number of them. When you read the reviews, when you watch into the different forums and English Facebook groups within the detailing world, there are more and more negative reviews where something breaks in those machines and they don't work properly. That's just what I'm seeing. So I'm putting a question mark at with the critical parts in regards to AVA machines, in regards to the quality and the reliability of those machines. Now, to be fair, I think that there's probably a similar amount of failures with Kärcher machines. And that would not be a huge issue if, and that's the most relevant, that's the most severe critical aspect I have about AVA, if the service network would be able to solve those issues for you as consumers. Because to be fair, those are machines, they can break no matter how careful you put them out there. There will always be some sort of failures. If they are handled properly, it's not a big issue. And I think that is the most critical, the most severe chance that AVA missed when they started to export their machines outside of Norway. Because within Norway, they are very, very good at handling those issues. Because in Norway, when you have a single issue with one of those machines, within a few days you have a replacement machine. Now, of course, when you export, you have general distributors and you have shops which are selling those machines. And as soon as you have an issue with those machines outside of Norway, then the question arises of who is responsible for that. Is it the shop? Is it the general distributor? Or is it AVA? And I personally, and honestly, don't care who is responsible, because I think AVA should be responsible or should feel responsible for solving those issues for you as consumers. Because I honestly think that the failure rates with AVA are not that much more severe or different than with any other pressure washer out there. I think the main issue is within the service network. And I heard of cases in which there was no response from AVA, from the general distributor, from the shop. I heard of cases in which the response was weeks away. I heard of people who got replacement machines rather quickly. Those people, in most cases, were reviewers. More models, you as customers probably had to wait weeks for a replacement machine or never got one. And that, I think, is the most critical, most severe, and the baddest news I have in terms of AVA, and which also is something in future reviews about machines, technical machines, and especially pressure washers, I will put more emphasis on. Because honestly, if you as a manufacturer, as a brand of pressure washers, if you go into a new market and you want to introduce it, you should make sure from the beginning that the service network that you have is functioning properly. Everything else is just frustrating. And that's unfortunately what I have seen with AVA, especially in the UK in the last couple of months. And that's the most severe negative aspect I wanted to talk to you about. Because, and that now brings us to the final conclusion of this video, my current and personal opinion on the whole matter of AVA of Norway pressure washers is this. If those machines work, they are brilliant. Design-wise, you have very beautiful machines which are pleasing to the eye. You have Kärcher compatibility, which means you can use a lot of those accessories. If you look at comparable machines by Kärcher, you usually have more power and more water flow. They are fairly priced. They are, meanwhile, readily available. All of those aspects are positive. You also have a lot of accessories. You have good accessories. That's all very positive if those machines work. as soon as there is an issue with them, they are not working properly, you have breakage, then it gets tedious. Then it is a case of how well is the service network, how well is the shop that you bought them from established, and how well does their service department react, how well does the general distributor react, and how well does AVA react, and how well is the service network per se in your country established or not established, not very well built. And that, I think, currently is the main issue with AVA, and we should end the video now at this point, because everything I told you so far is objective, and everything I tell you now is my personal opinion and my personal interpretation of things. So you can stop watching the video now if you want just objective facts and statements, and you can continue listening if you want my personal opinion. I think AVA started out as a company with a lot of ambition, with the right ideas, and with the right management. And then I think at some point they became too successful for their own good. And with that, I also think there was a change in management which was not solely positive. And there's one anecdotal evidence of that which leads me to that conclusion, which I want to tell you about, but I will keep it anonymous because those people who told me about it trust me. When I did the review on the AVA P80 Master, I got that machine from AVA. I was transparent about that, but AVA told me that no matter how good or bad that review will be, how positive or negative it will be, I can publish it. They don't want the video in advance. They don't want to talk about those aspects. If I like the machine, I can do a video about it. I can be open about it. If I don't like it, I can also be open about it. I think they knew that they had a good machine, and that's the reason why they told me about it. However, after I published the video, AVA told me that they also want to enter the UK market, or are trying to enter the UK market, and I recommended to them a few reviewers which I knew were transparent and open and honest when they review products. Those people got the machines, and I thought in my head that they would get the same treatment and the same experience that I had with AVA, which means that if they were positive, they would tell you about it, and if they were negative, they could also tell you about it. However, those reviews never came out, and then at some point I asked those persons about it, and they told me that AVA, I don't know if it was AVA of Norway or if it was the general distributor, I don't know it, that they didn't publish the videos or their reviews or their findings because AVA told them not to do it because they were negative. And I'll leave it at that with that anecdotal evidence, because I think it shows that there was at some point a change in management style within AVA because they grew too much, too quickly. They were too successful for their own good. There was my video, there were other positive videos for them, which probably led to a lot of sales, and at some point things started to go down. I don't know how badly they went down, I don't know how quickly they went down, but it led to the situation that we have now, where I felt the need to do this video to tell you about it. I think AVA started as a fantastic company with a fantastic product. And as I told you before, I still stand by everything I said in that original video about the P80 Master. There just were additions I needed to tell you about in regards to the compatibility of accessories, in regards to quality, reliability, and especially the service network. Because at the end of the day, what AVA of Norway for me is a monumentally huge missed chance. That's what AVA is for me. Because based on their original plan, their original vision, everything they were about as a company and what their products promised to be, they were on the road to success in becoming a fierce rival for Kärcher globally. I think they had, and honestly they probably still have that potential if something changes again in the future, but they had that potential. And at some point, something within the management style of AVA changed, and I think something happened there, something changed, which I don't think was positive for them. And that change mainly concerned the reliability and also the way that AVA treated us as customers, as reviewers, as people. Because what I and what others experienced in the last couple of months differs hugely from what I and others experienced when the company started out. And I think with that conclusion, I need to end this video. You now know the important aspects that you need to know if you consider buying such a machine. You know my personal opinion on the matter, and it was very important for me to make this follow-up video in order for you to make an educated decision on whether you want to buy those machines. If you just skipped to the end of this video, let me repeat my conclusion again. If those machines work, they are brilliant, they are fantastic. If they don't work, you have some worries in regards to the service network and the reliability of those machines. With that, I'll end the video. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, leave us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.